It's for PvP fans only. Hi everyone, I'm Jacob. I'm the CowHatLibrarian, and with me tonight are my assistant cats, who may or may not have any interest in this book. Anyway, tonight I'm here to talk about a sequel to something I previously talked about on this channel. I previously recorded a video talking about Scott Kurtz's Table Titans Club, about the younger days of his Table Titans characters that he established as an offshoot of his player versus player online webcomic. And it was a comic that I quite enjoyed. I was a PvP fan, I was a Table Titans fan, and I quite enjoyed Kurtz's work. But I wasn't that impressed with the Table Titans Club graphic novel. I felt that there were better stories to introduce children and tweens and teens to the world of Dungeons and Dragons and what it can be like playing those games with your friends. Nevertheless, I was really interested when I saw that Kurtz had written a sequel, and so I picked it up. And it is Table Titans Club Sneak Attack. As the story starts, the Table Titans are ready for a summer. They're on their way to a special summer camp that involves LARPing, live action role-playing. Now, some of them are really into it. Val, for example, is ready, dressed as a Valkyrie, ready for the task at hand. Well, Kate is there in body, but not spirit, and not costume, and certainly isn't imagining Val's mom's car as a horse-drawn cart. While the girls are on their way, so too are the boys. Andrew and Darius are all ready for the camp and are dressed up and ready to go, and they pick up Alan, who is looking forward to going but isn't dressed up and serves as their curmudgeon of the car ride. Anyway, they all arrive at camp and they meet their camp counselors. And to longtime fans of PvP Online, you'll recognize these folks as Brent Sienna, Jade Fontaine, Max Power, Leela, and Cole Richards. And they were the staff of PvP, the magazine / video game website / whatever else in the webcomic. And they serve as the counseling crew for this camp. And they learn that there are going to be various different quests and tasks to complete in the different houses that they're sorted into this camp. And so the Table Titans are broken up into different houses in this camp, and they're left to compete against each other. Meanwhile, over the course of the summer, there are a few things going on. Alan and Kate are at odds because while Kate joined the Table Titans and played with them, her character was killed due to an unfortunate run-in with a gelatinous cube, a cube that sort of eats away everything, leaving nothing in its wake. And her character died. And it was really upsetting to her. But that would have been okay, except for the fact that Alan managed to get a wish spell, a ridiculously powerful spell that could do anything, including bringing Kate's character back from the dead. But Alan refused to consider this possibility, and it's left him and Kate at odds. So throughout the summer, they're bickering back and forth, and Kate is insisting that she's not a member of the Table Titans, largely because of Alan, and Val, Darius, and Andrew do their best during the summer to get Alan and Kate involved, to make them see things from the other person's perspective, to try really hard to help them have fun this summer. Meanwhile, something weird happens where there are a few things sabotaged, some rope bridges destroyed, and garbage being left out by the dumpster, and Val swears she sees a troll of all things. And so for the rest of the summer, she's trying to convince people that these things were real. They weren't imagination. She's not making them up. She didn't vandalize the rope course. And the story goes from there. Here's the thing. If you are a fan of player versus player, you're going to like this. If you're a fan of Table Titans, You'll probably like this. If you're a fan of Table Titans Club, the previous graphic novel by Scott Kurtz, you'll probably like this. And I do recommend it. I think it is a fun story about these characters and their friendship and their summer at this camp. But there are a ton of spoilers ahead because I have to talk about all the deal breakers. Okay, so first off, while I was happy to see the characters from PvP Online show up in this, it was fun. It was a nice little nod to Kurtz's other work. It was a backdoor way of getting them into this story. It made it feel a little like Kurtz felt that the Table Titans crew couldn't carry the story alone. That without these cameos from his other recognizable characters, things weren't going to be established enough to draw in a crowd. And that's a shame because the Table Titans are an interesting group of people, and I think they could shine just fine without needing Brent, Jade, Max, Cole, Leela, Francis to show up. In some ways, it felt a little bit like Kurtz was too busy winking at longtime fans than focusing on the Table Titans storyline. But then, if you're going to include the PvP characters, that's fine, and they were fun. However, why was Francis there and Leela, but not Marcy? Marcy was in the comic much longer than Leela, and she was a great counterpart for Francis. Was Kurtz worried she'd overshadow the Table Titans characters? I'm not really sure. Robbie is in the story, and as it turns out, he was the troll behind the scenes because he wanted to be involved in a quest for the summer and not just the camp cook. But where was Jace? The two of them were inseparable for so many of the comic's early years. Why weren't they both there? Or alternatively, why didn't Butler make an interesting cameo? That would have been kind of funny and really, really unexpected. Okay, player versus player complaints aside, the relationship between the characters in Table Titans Club is really, really well written. The antagonism between Kate and Alan is very, very real, and I could completely understand their friendship and their greater group being fractured from the results of their gaming session. I believed all of that. It was very, very true to life. I liked the introduction of Brendan in this one as an over-enthusiastic Boy Scout who's always prepared. That was a lot of fun to see him go from that to a future DM in the grown-up Table Titans world. But this camp was listed as a LARPing camp, and when I've read descriptions of LARPing in the past, it's not just wearing costumes. There are other things involved, and in essence, it comes across as a cosplaying camp. These kids dress up in costumes, and that's about it. Some of their summer camp activities have themes that are marginally Dungeons and Dragons related, but not really. And given that the group exists to play Dungeons and Dragons together, it felt really, really weird to not have it a part of the story at all, except as a backstory for why Alan and Kate are fighting. Then to top things off, they had the revelation that Robbie was the troll and he wanted to make this quest to be a part of things, and all these kids chime in, well, yeah, it was the best part of the summer, it was the best quest, but most of them were barely involved in it. There was the rope bridge stuff being destroyed, which was a bummer for everyone. There was Val thinking she saw a troll near the trash and everyone else thinking it was raccoons, and ultimately them catching Robbie and discovering it was him. Most of the people at the camp were not involved with it at all, didn't see it as a quest, and saw it as Val making things up. So how was it their favorite quest of the summer? It really didn't make any sense to me. There are a lot of ways I feel like Kurtz could have made this better. I like the characters. I like their relationship. I like how it's written. I like the player versus player cameo. It's just, this felt like it didn't add up to the sum of its parts. For a future Table Titans graphic novel, I hope that Kurtz can get the Dungeons & Dragons side back into it, because that's what this is all about, and that's what the original Table Titans comics were about. And I hope that he won't have to rely so much on cameos from other characters. The Titans are a strong cast. They don't need the cameos to make it a worthwhile story. Even if I did smile at seeing those characters again. Still, I did like it, and I do recommend it. Go borrow it from your public library. While I'm on that topic, if you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library, why not take just 1 minute and tell the powers that be exactly that? Tell your mayor, tell a council member, tell your MP or MLA that you use and appreciate the services offered by your public library. We're at a time where some public libraries are having trouble finding sustainable funding to continue improving the materials, programs, and services they offer. And a few good words in the writers might make a world of difference. Now, if by some chance you're a library staff member, don't forget, watching my videos counts as professional development time. With that, thanks for listening to me roll a critical hit on my Be Critical of This book. By all means, please like, please subscribe, and please check back and see what else I have to talk about from the CowHat Library. Thank you. Bye now.